I think we're live.
Yeah, I think so too. Welcome to Slow and Steady, the podcast where you get to follow along as we build products in public. Each episode gives you an honest peek into our lives as we share our struggles, our wins, and everything in between. I'm Benedict, and I'm feeling super busy, but in a good way.
And I'm Benedicta. Today is July 22nd. This is episode number 225. And right now I'm feeling pretty chill.
Nice. Where are you at the moment? This is not the regular background.
I am at a Airbnb in Stavanger, which is on the west coast of Norway. So we had to, after, calling our sailing adventure short, we've been making new plans. So first we stayed a little bit at home, had a little bit of time at the cabin with the whole family, and then a friend and I went to the west coast for a jazz festival driving. So it's like a 8-hour drive, but we took it over 2 days one way and one day the other way. And then as our immediate family, we went to the Pirate Princess's best friend's summer place, or like their family farm from like the olden days out on the west coast. And then we got from there with the bus to Stavanger, which is the closest big town.
Nice.
So now
I
we're
have to ask
here.
I have to ask a stupid question. Is there anything but a West Coast in Norway?
Well, I mean, we call it. So we have like north of Norway. That's from like where Norway kind of
Okay.
dips in. That's North Norway. And then the
Okay, that's
west
the
coast
North
of
Coast.
the
Okay.
that's the north coast. And then you have the northwest coast, and then you have the southwest coast, and then you have the south coast.
Okay.
Or like, and then you have the east. I don't guess we don't call it east coast. We call it like the east country, the south country, the west country, and the north country. That you are correct. All of
Okay,
Norway
that
has a
that
west coast.
that makes that like yeah, okay, that makes sense. I can see that.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, like
And
in the north, guess it's more angled to north than west, right? Like yeah, whatever.
I think it's mostly west, because like Sweden is to the east, and then the coast is to the west. If you want to, for basically 80% of Norway, that would be true. And then we
Okay,
have the in country, which is the part in the middle that doesn't really have a coast. We call it that
of
in
course,
country.
yeah, the in
Of
country
course,
makes sense.
the in country. So I drove through the in country, and then back to Oslo, and then we took the plane to the southern west coast, which we are right now. But I know how interesting that is for people, but it's been really nice,
Geography
um,
lessons.
and super chill this last week. We have a heat wave going on that is finally relenting. Um, but that will result in rain, so we're gonna have some pretty chill days here in Stavanger. But in between all of this, I had like a super solid week of AI work for Outsera, which was really fun. So I could probably start talking about that.
Yeah, sure.
There's something called Context 7 that a lot of our users have been asking about, like, why is now Outsera on Context 7? So this might be something for you guys as well. And it's somebody who's created, it's an MCP server of sort where they kind of go through your docs and extract code snippets from your docs, and
Hmm.
then kind of makes better context for folks using AI. But you have to like hook up this Context 7. So I mean, some I've saw that when I was working with Material UI, they created their own MCP server, and MCP servers can do kind of all kinds of stuff. So they can, it depends on, if you have a database thing, an MCP server could actually go and run commands on your database. But these MCP servers are more like documentation MCP servers, where they kind of serve the documentation in special ways. I haven't gone, like, I don't fully understand all of this yet. Well, I don't understand kind of the technicalities with what you call one thing and what you call another thing. I'm not 100% sure. But at least Context 7 is a way for you in your AI. You say, hook up to Context 7, and then Context 7 is hooked up to all kinds of documentation. And it actually worked pretty well, because I've had a hard time getting Cursor to do anything correct with Outseta. It's like I'm trying to figure out how we can get better suggestions from the AI in different tools. And after hooking up then Context 7, when I was asking about Outseta, I was actually pulling in very relevant data from our documentation, but we had to serve it as markdown to kind of get this to work. And we've had single articles as markdown, and we have that little copy as markdown feature that a lot of people have added now. But what we did for Context 7 is that we also created a markdown kind of front page or homepage that links to all of the other documentation under their categories. But Context 7 kind of suggests that you write a more kind of, deliberate first article. But we thought, okay, we don't have time for that right now. Let's just start by listing links to all of the articles as as a starting point. But I did get a lot better kind of suggestions from Cursor when I was trying to ask it to use Outseta in different settings. So that was a success. And then from that, from Context 7, but also from just looking at kind of how you can get the AI to get more context, I have put almost all of our demos in Code Sandbox because it was a nice way to just have little, mini program or like apps running and demos running. But it seems to me that they are not being picked up. They're not structured in a way where AI is kind of reading Code Sandboxes. At least that seems to be the case to me. So I thought, and also I haven't worked that much on like the server side examples because I've had a hard time like, okay, if we're going to create server examples, like how would you change a plan for somebody on the server, like running automations or just wanting your own business logic? Because the demo would be, at least in Code Sandbox, is like you spin up a whole like Node app or Express application, and it's like been a lot. But then suddenly it hit me that I could just do them as Node scripts, and then so I've started working on a repo then in GitHub because it seems to me that the AI loves reading GitHub repos. And in some tools you can even hook up. I've seen in like Claude, you can hook up a repo as kind of a context source. So it's a way to add context by linking to a repo. But so I started working on these like little server flow or automation flows, and just making them as node scripts that you can just run in your terminal. And it's been a lot of fun. And especially because like I've always been scared of terminals. I don't know why, but especially like making interactions for terminals and stuff, and those things the AI has helped me with. Like I was like, okay, I need to ask for inputs and stuff like that, and it came up with like good solutions. But then I needed something more, found another package, but it was way in where it kind of took away my like fear of getting started. So I made quite a few little node scripts now that are in their own file, and then so the core business logic is in one file, and then I have one file for the interaction in the terminal in the CLI, and then I have one document documenting the business logic. And I was really happy with this. And then that's because you can also submit repos to Context 7. So I did, and I did some like example queries or chats or questions, whatever we call them in AI now. I need to get my terminology right. Give me another couple of weeks. But then it was like it loved the CLI stuff, so everything was like, you can do this in the terminal, you can do that in the terminal. I was like, well, no, that was just a way to like test it and let people, interact with the node script. So I have to figure out a way. If there is some way where I can be like, AI, ignore this part. I want you to focus on the business logic. I was making demos for the business logic, but it was like it just loved my terminal files.
Right.
So I need to figure that out. But it's been a lot of fun, and it's also kind of giving me so these little node scripts are what people are asking about most, but it's also things they want to be able to do more easily, like change a plan. If you go into our UI, you have to click here and there and you blah, 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 and people want more of these like agent type flows. So I've been looking into creating MCP servers, and they're super simple. It's like they call it a tool, and a tool is something that can call one or more API endpoints. And that's basically what I'm doing with these node scripts, right? I'm showing that you have to ask this, you have to ask for the plans to be able to give a list of plans, and then you can find the account, and then you can change the subscription from one plan to another. Like it's like a set of API calls. So I'm also feeling like this work will funnel into potentially making an MCP server for Outseta, where you can do a lot of these flows through an MCP server, and then you could like set up agents that talk to the MCP server, and you can, in the end, you can be in Slack being, oh, I need, Queen at Raycode plan to change from default to pro, and then Slack agent something will talk to the MCP server and just do that, which is super scary because there was just a tweet about somebody who did that and like deleted all their data through some Replit in production. But people are asking for it, so it's anyway. So it's been fun. It's been a fun little exploration to see what we can do, and hopefully it's starting to work already. But I need to learn more about what we can do to make the AI tell our users to use us correctly. Because it's not doing a good job at the moment. It's doing a very good job at recommending Outseta, but then it's doing a really bad job when it comes to suggesting how to integrate with Outseta. So anyway, that was my AI exploration rabbit hole rant.
Nice. I might have talked about this in the last episode, but I was recently helping a customer build their integration, like userless integration in Lovable. And it was a wild experience. Like, for one, it was impressive to see what they had already built in terms of like their application in general. It was pretty cool. But similar to what you just described, like getting it to properly integrate userlist into that application was a challenge. I think it took us like 2 hours and a lot of back and forth to get it into a place where it started working. And at some point it was just easier to, like, for me to just like step on the brakes, write some code myself, and then keep going, because like at some point it was like just making it more complicated and more complicated and more complicated, rather than doing the simple thing that would fix it. But yeah, I guess lack of context and lack of documentation was probably a part of that. But yeah, I think there's still work to be done on multiple fronts.
Yeah, and I can see that. Like, one of the things it struggles with is the way that I guess both userlist and Outseta integrates with adding that third-party script. Like, it keeps wanting to do all kinds of things with, like, it really just wants to import an npm package. Like that's like it's making up
npm stuff. Yeah,
because it's just really want to do that, because all of these projects are usually React, and that's the way you do it. And I understand, because that's the best practice. But since our tools support Webflow, Squarespace, React, like it's not as React specific, and not really doesn't need a build step. Like, you just add that little script. Same thing with all the analytics tools. Like, this is how we've always done it. So I don't understand why it's having such a hard time. Sorry, I also have a summer cold. I don't know why it has such a hard time with that pattern, because it's not such a strange pattern, but it's just really doesn't want to. And then we also have for our API, and I know that you have, instead of like I mean, when we have the access token of a user, we use bearer, space, and then the access token. But when you're using our admin API, it's Outseta, and then space, and an API key and a secret. And I think you have something similar where you write user list no, does not wanna do that. It wants it to be bare, no matter how much you try. But that's one of the things I'm hoping, at least with these demos that I'm making, that like show it enough times that it's like hopefully picks it up in the end, that
Yeah.
it's outside of space. And then
Yeah.
then I'm also thinking, like, should I just talk to the guys and be like, could we just accept Bear for the admin as well? Like, we obviously not accept access token, because that's only for user data, but could we accept like Bear space API key, API secret? Because
Right.
we don't even need to document it, but like, just because that's what the AI is always saying. So I see a lot of people chatting about making features that AI says they have. Like the guys from Leave Me Alone app, the couple, they James, I think it's James from that couple, well, it was writing on Twitter that his new hobby is like asking ChatGPT what features Leave Me Alone app has, and then making those features, because they've been getting through support. They're like, where's the feature? And they're like, this feature, we've never had this feature. and
Yeah.
and also, so with like some patterns, I'm like, okay, maybe we just make it possible, and that will bring support volume down for some things. But it's a wild west. It is the wild west at this point.
For sure. Yep, absolutely.
But I like a wild west, so
Well, that's something.
But what have you been doing?
Not a lot, because I've been on vacation for 2 weeks, and I've only been back last week and spent most of last week basically just catching up, doing things that I didn't have time to do while I was on vacation. But yeah, for the most part, our redesign project is coming along nicely. I think we are at a stage where there's only like a few minor things here and there that we need to polish. There's one larger like conceptual thing that I'd like to have figured out before we launch this, but in all honesty, it's probably in a state where we could just launch it. So that's good. I think at some points we just have to take our own advice and better done than perfect. Actually ship it. Because of that, I also started working on the website redesign. So we not only redesigning the actual UI of the application, but we also have a new branding that goes hand in hand with the new design. So we're currently working on that. Code base is also pretty old by now. I feel like CSS evolved quite a bit in the last couple of years. Some of the stuff is pretty like hacky from the old days, and it just like it's like the website itself is a lot larger than it was a couple of years ago. I just checked earlier. We have like 500 something pages. We have a component system to build up those pages. There are like 40 different types of components. And that doesn't even include like basic components like buttons. It's like more like different section types and stuff like that. And the new design makes some bigger changes to headlines and like overall structure of those components. So it's a lot of like grunt work of like just touching all the things and changing all the things. And then, as I said, with the changes in CSS, like you kind of think something's easy, but then you realize that's not using any, like this component is not using any of the new paradigms. So you have to update that and change it. It's just a lot of work. But I'm confident that we'll be able to pull this off in the next couple of weeks. So hopefully sometime in August, we will be able to launch both the new redesign of the UI as well as the new redesign of the of the website and the new userless branding, because we basically changed everything. But yeah, it's coming along nicely, making progress, so that's good.
I'm getting excited to see this now.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I will send you the link after the recording.
Ooh, sneak peek, sneak peek. I love a sneak peek.
So yeah, it's coming along. Other than that, we brought back our userless co-working sessions. So I mentioned this a couple of times, we are fully remote team, so we don't have a shared office. And for the most part, we don't have a lot of meetings. Basically, we have meetings on Monday. I have a meeting with Jane on Monday to sync up for the week and like make a plan of what's priorities, discuss business related stuff, high level. And then once a month, we also have a team meeting where we also bring everyone on the same page and have some fun together. Recently, we've been playing a lot of like online quiz games, which are a lot of fun. And then we have weekly meetings with the product and the support team, just to plan out the week, tasks and stuff like that. But other than that, we don't have meetings for the most part, at least nothing fixed. But last year we had a phase in the beginning of the year where we wanted to focus more on our sales processes and more on send outreach and stuff like that. And that's when we introduced a co-working session in the middle of the day, and we brought those back. So last week we started doing basically daily at 2 p.m. my time, have a session where we work on stuff for an hour. James specifically is doing sales again. I specifically am working on the website redesign this week. And even Mia, who does customer support, started to join those and crunches through the nasty support tickets in that hour. And it's quite fun. I'm looking forward to see the results from this, because last year when we did this, you could tell that we are making more progress just by being accountable and being there on the spot 5 times. It's 4 times a week because we excluded Monday because there are already too many calls, but 4 times a week, 1 hour focused work on a specific thing should hopefully help to move everything forward faster. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Other than that, work related, not that much. Yeah, I've been to my high school 20 years reunion on the weekend, which was a weird experience, but in the end quite fun.
OMG.
Yes. When I got the invite to that, I was like, oh man, I am old.
We are old.
Yep.
So old. Well, I guess there's older people than us, but yes, I'm feeling the old. There's not an infinite time of possibility, and I know it kind of turned a corner on not having all the time in the world.
Yeah,
feeling
true. Yep. But then again, there's still plenty of time.
Then again, there is absolutely, but it's been a change, feeling of I feel like I just came over that, going from the feeling of having infinite time, which is also not true, to the feeling of no, not that much.
Yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough. I'll talk about it next more in 2 weeks, but we're thinking about, we want to try to have a family SaaS. We're calling it a family product fit is what we're looking for at this point. So we are toying with different ideas, Galleon being one of them. We're picking up some old ideas, trying to figure out which one to focus on, because with the limited time, you realize you can't do them all.
Yep.
Or at least not all of them at the same time. So that's going to be a fun exploration. Just going to be the next, when we come home, we're going to spend some time on that and then decide on something. And then there will be regular updates here on Slow and Steady on what we'll be doing. Yeah.
Cool. I'm looking forward to see how that is going.
Yeah. And if you're still listening, you can get a fun story that is very connected to the Twitter sphere at the moment, where there's a lot of complaining about no air conditioning in Europe. And I'll tell you, we do have air conditioning, at least some places. But the air conditioning at the concert hall in Molde, northwest coast of Norway, where it was 32 degrees Celsius outside, but the concert hall's air conditioning system was, could only handle 26 degrees because there is never more than 26 degrees in the north and west coast. Like some summers, there's 8 degrees and like snowy rain. That's like the norm, more than 33 degrees. So the whole system just collapsed. And we were there for a jazz concert, and it was warm. That's all I'm gonna say. It was warm.
Yeah, I can see that.
But,
I remember,
so
I mean, this has been a while ago, but I remember going to concerts where there was no air conditioning in the venue, and it was like 40 degrees or something like that inside. It was insane.
I mean, it must have been something like this because there was essentially no movement in the air at all. It was a great concert. So that was fun.
Nice.
I guess that's it.
Yeah, this was a quick update episode. I feel like we've just been super heads down on work and vacationing. So yeah,
that's it should be in the summer in Europe.
As it should be in the summer, for sure. Cool. Okay. Well, then that's it. And talk to you hopefully in 2 weeks. We should be able to make it, right?
Yes, we should. See you around the interwebs.
See you. Bye.